I wanted to make this video because I think it's very important to talk about mankind and what our view of mankind is, because your view of mankind is going to inform how you look at politics in general, in life in general. And what I see with mankind is that mankind rarely learns from their mistakes, rarely. And they oftentimes look for an explanation that suits their needs, that suits their desires, and they stick with it. And they seldom take criticism very well, if you say. They look for people to blame if things go wrong, and obviously they're the culprit. They're the ones who did it. They don't want to take responsibility. And scapegoating is something you see quite often throughout history, where there's a group of people who had nothing to do with the incident that occurred, and they are blamed because people cannot take the failure that they've done to themselves, and so they have to hate other people. And I see this so often now that I've come to the conclusion that I think the ordinary man is just not capable of self rule, and that it's best that we have a system that power is dynamic. Obviously, it should never be concentrated to one place, but there should be a dynamic process where at some phases power would be in the hands of the people, but in other phases, the responsibility would have to be channeled up to the leadership, right? The national leadership, it might be statewide leadership, but there has to be that process there because people are so easy to fool and to deceive, right? Because they hear what they want to hear. And it's so frequent that I just, I'm astounded every time I see it, because every time I'm reading a history book, I'm like thinking, wow, I've seen this before. I turn on the news and there you go, right? If people can just think, right, just use critical thinking, right, and establish virtue in themselves and build that and try to get good character, most of the problems in the world would go away. We'd have a much better world. But people have absolutely no desire to improve themselves. They want to blame other people. They want to be victims, right? And then the world falls apart. And instead of them taking the consequences of what their actions have wrought, they push those consequences to other people and try to get away with it, right? The whole problems of the world is not God. It's not something external to us. It's us as people. It's us as human beings. We are the reasons why our lives are considerably harder compared to what it should be, which is much easier, much better, much more flourishing when it comes to who you can be in this world, right? There shouldn't be poverty all over the world. Diseases should be cured. But instead, we put money in the war and greed, right? So it's up to us to fix it. But until the Lord comes and changes the hearts of man, where they can now repent of their sins and worship Him and Him alone, I don't see any real way we can improve. And so this is a bit of a ranting video, but I wanted to say this because I think I think the world is falling apart, and there's not a lot of reasonable voices out there. There's a lot of loud voices. And so just someone who's just kind of observing can give their point of view. And I hope that was helpful.